Well, since I'm getting close to getting to the good reviews, have like this one and one more rant to go until I end this month on some good a couple more good films because I just did a positive review previously, which I enjoyed. So, but I gotta get a couple more rants in to go before I ending on more positive reviews. So, but this film, why did this need to be made? Why this film had to be made? Number one, did anyone ask for this film to be made? No. What they did is okay. You see the title. It's the 2025. You can say sequel, but also it's another one. It's a sequel, but it's also like a remake. But it's a legacy sequel. That's basically what it is. Of I Know What You Did Last Summer. So yes, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the legacy sequel, as we could say. But it also times it plays like a remake sometimes because it's the same title with no colon whatever afterwards. It's the same title, but it's still a continuation. I you know I like the first I Know What You Did Last Summer. I do. I like the cast, the main four cast members. It was nice to see Anne Haitian there. Rest in peace to her. But I don't love the film. It's a teen teen because what they did, but during that time because the first Scream film was a hit, right? So Kevin Williamson's and the people trying to capitalize what kind of a slasher we can do to capitalize on the success of Scream, right? I Know What You Did Last Summer. That was a hit. And they tried to do some other ones sequels afterwards that were crap though, like Valentine. That was a not good. That was not good at all. And some other between that I just can't remember. But Valentine was another one. Was another one of those ones. But I like the first. I like the first film. The sequel, not so much. It was. It was not. It was not. I still know what you did. I still know what you did last summer, or you could say 2 summers ago, but it was not a good film. But I did. I think that Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character was improved more in the first film. And okay, the Bahamas location, okay, but yeah, Jack Black, which I'm tired. I am tired of seeing now. Yes, and speaking of Jack Black, I did see the trailer for the new Anaconda movie that was complete and utter shit, and I'm tired of seeing Jack Black. I'm so damn tired of seeing him now. And at this point, I am kind of getting tired of seeing Paul Rudd. I mean, I like him as Ant Man though, but I think at this point, I am getting a little bit tired of seeing him as well. But I'm mostly getting sick and death to seeing Jack Black now. And the Anaconda film looked like shit anyway. But I'll get to that if I ever do a video. That I'll get a full rant on that though. But that's another time though. But Jack Black in that film trying to pass off like he's well, he has dreads, being like a hippie, smoking weed. Yeah, that's kind of typical. I would probably say that's his personality is nowadays. Probably, you know, if he doesn't, he does. I'm just saying that's kind of suits his personality how he is nowadays. To me, it does. But at least he dies in that film, gets shears in the chest. Okay, but it was not a good sequel though. The third film, which had nothing to do with the other films. I'll have to review that sometime, but just like that's a filler movie. It's completely irrelevant. That had nothing to do with the last two movies. So this film, did anyone ask? Was anyone asking for another movie? No. But the thing is, like I said, the first one, they try to cash in on like the new Halloweens, the new Scream movies. That's what they're trying to do, and this film did not live up to that. It made about 30-some million in the US, like 64 million worldwide, much below than those movies did. This film just sucks up every which up and down every which way till Tuesday. That's what it basically is. This sucks big time. It sucks balls and the D word. And especially if you're a fan of the first movie, or even if you like the second film, with the two returning characters, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. They're basically they just shit on those characters. If you're fans of those films or the characters, you probably won't like this because they just shit on those characters. Thing is though, I probably still say I hate Scream 5 more because what they did with Dave Arquette's character Dewey, it pissed me off more. So yeah, I don't like Scream 4. I don't like Scream 5. Well, especially Scream 5 and 6. Those films piss me off more. So I can probably say, yeah, I don't like those films more than this film, but this film still pisses me off. And I don't like the new Halloween films either. Those films piss me off, but probably those piss me off more because it's Michael Myers. But those are much more bigger villains than the Fisherman. But this one still just pisses me off. So, the film didn't live up box office wise to the expectations of those movies. So, but okay, getting into it. You have these. It's 2024, last year. You have this group of kids. This one girl named Danica. She's engaged to this guy named Teddy. They call her. They call him. And so, they're engaged, and then one night it was kind of playing like I said, playing like the first movie. They go for a drive at night at like one of those cliffside roads. But this time the guy Ted gets out, stands in the middle of the road. See if anyone will try to hit him. They tell him, even though they're telling him to get out of the road. But as the guy does, he's getting off the road, and all of a sudden this guy who's speeding, driving like a maniac, nearly hits him and ends up going through a guardrail on the cliff, on the side of the cliff. Well, part of me was like, well, first of all, if it's a cliffside road, you shouldn't be speeding like a maniac, in case something happens, and if you see a car pull to the side, you probably should slow down. So part of me is like, basically the driver is basically at fault, basically. Because you shouldn't be if you're on a cliffside road, you should be driving at high speeds, and if you do see the car on the side of the road, you should slow down. Even though the fact Ted was walking back towards them in the car. So, but they try to get him, get the purse, but it's too late. It falls off to the cliff, and just like the first film, thinking they killed somebody, which probably they didn't kill anyone. The driver was basically at fault for speeding, like being a speed demon. But so Ted makes them promise them to not say anything, and his dad, who's rich, who I think is like he's the town mayor, I think, I don't know. Will cover this up and make it go away. And there's the lead girl named Eva doesn't want to do it, or same thing with the other girl named Stevie, which by the they pick her up to take her on a drive because they had a run-in with her last year, because a couple of years ago, because she was dialogue like she was like in a rehab, and then she was like pissed like they father blew all her money. It was whatever it was. And basically I don't really care because I don't care about any of these characters. I don't. But that was one of the reasons. That's why they told her to come along with the drive. So they both of them were forced to promise not to say anything. And so now it's a year later. And so by this time she's broken up with Ted. She's engaged to another guy now. And we see the lead girl. She's flying back to the wedding. She's flying to the wedding reception. I guess she's bisexual because she's making out with this one girl And yet this other guy that's one of the characters, the guys that she also that likes her. So I guess she's bisexual. I guess. So she returns back. They go to the wedding reception, and so one thing leads to another. The girl Danica, she gets a note, like the first film. I know what you did last summer. So she tells them who sent it. They assume it was Ted, so they go to him, and now the guy is on his boat, a drunk. And oh, by the way, his father. I mentioned his father. His father is Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer himself. Yeah, the '90s film, The Rocketeer. That was directed by Joe Johnston. Yeah, that's Billy Campbell plays Ted's father. Yes, I was like, wait, is that Billy Campbell? Holy shit, that's the Rocketeer himself. Wow. I'm like, I haven't seen him in how long, and he pops up in this shitty movie. My God, man. And I like the Rocketeer. I'm like, holy shit, wow. So, they have to assume that it was if they didn't do it, they'd assume it's somebody else. So, so they're wondering, what if it's the guy that they supposedly ran off the road? And so they're trying to put things together. The girl who was a podcast, she was the girl that Eva was making on the plane. She's a podcaster, and she's she's doing reports because she's a fan of the 1997 murders from the first movie. She mentions the 1997 murders, what happened in this town, and she even takes the girl Eva to that place where Sarah Michelle Gellar and her sister Bridget Wilson, where they were working at that cosmetic shop or wherever it was where Sarah Michelle Gellar was being chased at. Bridget Wilson gets killed in that place, and that's when the fisherman was attacking her. So yeah, it's that place. So she brings her to that place, and and one thing's another, like, I guess the killer set the trap for. I guess Eva says something, trips something, and she gets caught in like this fish cage, or you could say it kind of looks like a bird cage though, but it's one of those fishing cages. She gets caught in it, but she gets herself out, and the girl, the podcaster, she's like, okay. This kind of this was kind of, this has got me wondering, because she sees the fisherman, and she goes and says, "It's you." Okay, that's number one, because I don't think she didn't met any of Eva's friends, right? She she's reminiscing of the report of the stuff of the 1997 murders, and she goes and says, It's you." I'm wondering, who do you think she sees right there as in the fisherman disguise? Because when we find out that the girl Eva later goes to see Jennifer Love Hewitt, who lives ways from the Southport town, so it can't be her. I wonder who she recognized, who is not any of Eva's friends, and if Jennifer Love Hewitt lives far away, who do you think she recognizes? I wonder why. So the film kind of spoiled itself, or people doesn't put the things together, unlike I did. But I'll get into that though. I will. I'm like, wow, okay, because she gets killed. She's killed, and then she gets hung. Eva gets out of that cage, and she's attacked by the fisherman. She just cut him on the arm, and then she escaped. And like in the first movie, where Selma goes to get on that pulley system, that pulley platform, kind of gets, or was the podcaster who was doing the same thing? I think it was the podcaster girl, because like the first one where Selma goes pulling up on the platform. That same thing happens, and then she gets away, and so now there's this town meeting. There's this town meeting where Billy Campbell and the other commuters are discussing what to do, And then Freddie Prinze Jr. shows up and saying, "Oh, this is the first time this hasn't happened, right?" So Freddie Prinze Jr. returns, and so you know, I don't mind Freddie Prinze Jr. as an actor. I like him as Freddy from the Scooby Doo films. I did not mind him in the first movie. I did like his character a bit more in the second film of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Um, and there was that TV show he was doing during the mid 2000s. I forget what it was because I remember because his TV show did a crossover with George Lopez. I forget what the name of the TV show was. I know the show though, but I forget though. But and then of course his voice in the Star Wars Red Bulls. Now I would disagree what he was doing. He was kind of saying that if it went, oh, Disney Star Wars is a kids show and not take the blah blah blah, whatever was bullshitting he was saying. You know, people who were just like, oh, Star Wars is just Rebels is a kids show and all that. You know, and then if he didn't like, he kind of like ghosted Matthew Lillard for a long time because Matthew Lillard was kind of saying like, yeah, we were friends, but he just kind of like stopped talking to me. And despite the fact, even before the Scooby Doo movies, there were that movie called Wing Commander that was called that was a video game movie, which I don't think that was not a good film either though. But they were in that together before the Scooby Doo movies, so I don't know. Whatever Freddie Prinze Jr. was saying, whatever he was bullshitting, you know, I'm like Freddie Prinze Jr. Are you kind of a bit acting a bit of a dick, you know? I mean, if you were friends with Matthew Lillard and you basically just ghosted him, I had no idea. But I don't mind Freddie Prinze Jr. An actor though. So, but you know, there's an excuse for all the stuff you say though. But but anyway, so they go to him. Oh, and Stevie works at this bar with Freddie Prinze Jr. because Freddie Prinze Jr. is her boss, and so there's a bit moment they're asking about the murders, and of course they reference the second film because they're asking like, what if we just run away? What if we can just go into the Bahamas? And Freddie Prinze Jr. goes and says, "Oh, the Bahamas? Yeah, I was right. I recommend against that idea." Yeah, so still being canon to the second movie. So, and then of course, even okay, spoilers, but I don't care. Spoilers, whatever. And then after the post credits, during the post credits, Brandy makes an appearance, a cameo. So still trying to be canon to the second film, Brandy makes an appearance. Well, I'll get to her though. Um, so they're still trying to figure out where about who's doing it. There's a point where Danica and Ted they go to the graveyard. They see Sarah Michelle Gellar's and Bridget Wilson's graves. They ask the guy, like the caretaker of the cemetery, say, "Hey, can we see? These are fresh flowers that were just put here. Can we see the footage?" The guy goes in, tries to get the footage, but he gets killed. And then afterwards, they get chased by the fishermen. They hide in like, it was the room. There was that big clam thing where it was a stage prop where Sarah Michelle Gellar was in the parade with that big clam thing from the first movie. They get chased in there. Ted managed to fend off the fisherman, and he's like, "Oh yeah, is that all you got?" And so, and there's even more where Ted is in the showers, like in the first movie where Ryan Philippe was in, or he sees on the steamed glass. It says, "I still know," whatever. "You're next," whatever. It's kind of like at the ending of the first movie where Jennifer Love Hewitt was in the shower. She sees in the steamed glass, "I still know." It's kind of like doing the same thing like the first movie. And so, and then for some reason, okay, they go to see they go to see Jennifer Love Hewitt, and she goes and says, "Let me ask you a question. What did you do last summer?" Oh fuck! I forgot. How could I forget this? See, this is what this movie's done to me, because I forgot because this was in the trailer. How can I forget the most important thing that was in the trailer? That was big in the first trailer, right? Stupid. This film was so shitty. Made me forget the big part that was you saw in the trailer. Before all that, Danica's second fiance. I feel like blow my brains out. Her second fiance. She's in the bathtub doing listening to meditating music, right? Her second fiance, he sees lights go off and on at in the backyard pool. He gets harpooned, but he takes it off. And even after being harpooned, he still stares at the back window instead of just running away. But the guy's an idiot, so his stupidity got him killed. Okay, good, you deserve it because you're stupidity because of your freaking stupidity. So after he gets harpooned the first time, instead of just running away, he still stares at the window like this, like an idiot. And then he gets harpooned again. And that's when the fisherman comes in, kills him. And you could probably say the only good gory scene in the movie, because this film still lacks on the kills, on goriness, Because Danica comes down, she sees her new hubby strung up like this. I guess probably say the most vicious vicious kill you say in the movie, I would say. Because some of the kills were lame and not very gory. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer had more vicious kills than this movie, and that's sad to say. Because you see, like I said, Jack Black, he gets stabbed in the chest. Or a bloody aftermath with Jeffrey Combs. When you open the doors, you see Jeffrey Combs all bloodied up with a machete in his head, and then with a bloody, I still know, bloodied on the walls. That was a much more vicious and bloodier death, even though it's an aftermath though, but still. Or the late Bill Cobb, rest in peace to him, when he gets speared through, but he falls on that one girl who was a bartender. The fisherman goes and stabs through him into the woman, so he gets a double harpooning right there. Those kills are much more vicious. Or what was the guy McKay Pfeiffer. He gets hooked up through the neck and he gets pulled up while still hooked in the neck. Or in the beginning, Freddie was Junior's friend. He gets harpooned. I was saying harpooned. Hooked right through like this. Oh, I'm dragged out of the truck. Those had more vicious kills than in the second film, more than this movie. The best, you say the most vicious death was that second fiance, was harpooned, okay, but then he gets strung up all bloody up like this, like a scarecrow. Because the guy who was the caretaker of the cemetery, he dies. And then the guy who likes Eva, because they go back to the house, I think it was Ted's house, and she wants him to make out with her, and she says, "Oh, punish me like a bad girl." And yet, for some reason, the guy gets nervous and leaves her. I'm like, you're a bitch, And he goes and sits in the car debating. He's like, punch her like a bad girl. Debating whether she should go back inside. I'm like, dude, you're a bitch, okay? You're scared to get. And then the killer is in the backseat and he gets strangled to death. I'm like, that's a lame death. I know strangulation is pretty much one of the lamer kills to do, but at least you're doing a strangulation good Child's Play 3, the start of Child's Play 3, the CEO of the Good Guy dolls, he gets strangled with a yo-yo string. and then you have Chucky saying, "Just like the good old days. Nothing like a strangulation, get the circulation going." He was playing off having fun and strangling the guy. Child's Play 3, that gets hated a lot though, but I enjoy Child's Play 3. That's a much better movie than this movie is. I think Child's Play 3 is underrated. To me, the last good Child's Play film in the franchise, in my opinion. That's underrated. This is much better than a better movie than this movie. But the guy gets strangled. That's a lame kill. And plus, the guy was acting like a bitch. Oh, he gets nervous when she says, "Punch me like a bad girl." You're a bitch and you deserve to die. So then afterwards, they go to see this. They suspect there was this preacher because the guy who died in that crash was his brother. Even my dog's barking. Someone's at the door, but maybe he hears me though. I don't know. Reviewing this movie, but more likely it's somebody at the door. So they talk to the preacher, and then with Ted at his place, and then he gets attacked. He tries to fight. He tries to fight the guy off, but he gets stabbed, and he's crawling, and then he dies like afterwards off screen. And then his father comes in, Billy Campbell, like I said, the Rocketeer, sees him, holds him in his arms. He's dying, and then the killer comes from behind and hooks him right here. And then they afterwards for the whole crowd to see, they're both strung and hung for the people to see. And so then now they figure out who is this person. So they suspect if it's the because it's now it's just her, Danica, and Stevie. So they go on this one of those oh stuff like okay. They go to the Freddie Prinze Jr. goes to see Jennifer Love Hewitt. Now here's where it goes where you think you if you like those characters in the first two movies, they shit on them in this movie. Because Freddie Prinze Jr. goes to see Jennifer Love Hewitt at her home. Now for some reason, which they don't explain, they're no longer together, and they don't like each other. They don't like each other, which they don't explain. Because Freddie Prinze Jr. It seems like he still can't get over, which is funny though. He still can't get over what happened, but yet for some reason, like in the second film, he seems to got over it because which why I like his character more in the second film, because he seemed like he was over it, and when he hears about the pending danger to the love of his life, he goes out, buys a gun, gets a boat in the stormy weather, tries to confront him, let her go, and fights the son, and does like this to the son where he makes Ben Willis to actually make him accidentally stabbing his son. I'm like, after all of that, now they're no longer together, which they don't explain. Now they don't like each other. So I'm like, wow. After all that, in the second film where they get married and they move in together, which people can still say that's still a dream sequence where she gets pulled under the bed though, but as the case, they bought a house together and they got married, but now all that is pointless because now for some reason they don't like each other now. So, and Jennifer Love Hewitt was completely useless in this movie. For like a few scenes, she talks to the girl. Freddie Prinze Jr. talks to Freddie Prinze Jr. for a bit, and then afterwards, well, I'll get to that in a second though, but. And then, what was getting to before I mentioned the whole thing in the trailer, Danica for some reason has a random nightmare where she sees Sarah Michelle Gellar. She has this is like a desperate cameo for her, but because it's supposed to be canon though. But Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think they use like one of those de-aging effects, right? To make her look like how she was back then, younger. Like how like a lot of the MCU characters, then they de-age them. So, and yet then she starts decomposing in bad CGI, which starts decomposing. You see her skeleton face, bad CGI. Although it's quite funny, they see a picture of Sarah Michelle Gellar, which is also another thing. It's funny on top of funny because they see a group. I think they see a group photo of them together, the four of the main characters in the first movie, and then there was another picture of Sarah Michelle Gellar at the grave. And then the Jennifer Love, who I think had a picture of Sarah Michelle Gellar or both of them to get all of them together. I'm like, it's funny that Ryan Philippe, other than I guess that one group photo, but Ryan Philippe doesn't get much mention in this movie except for Sarah Michelle Gellar's character. I'm like, wow. Sorry, Ryan Philippe. Barry didn't get much mentioning. But it's really like it was like a desperate cameo. Well, Sarah Michelle Gellar coming back in a random nightmare this Danica has, and yet she starts decomposing in bad CGI. Which is quite funny though. They see her picture, they know her face, but yet for some reason they recognize they had her voice. Even though it's Sarah Michelle Gellar, but they never met the character because she was dead. But at least they Sarah Michelle Gellar had her voice though. It could have been any other voice though, but if you get what I mean though, right? So, okay. And then afterwards, then they think that they figure to distinguish who the killer is, and then they end up on this yacht, this big yacht, and it reveals that Stevie is the killer because I guess the person who died in the car, it was her rehab buddy, and she liked him. That's the reason why that she was doing this, and so she gets the gun and she shoots Danica, but yet she's still alive because she washed us all on a beach. And then Freddie Prinze Jr. comes in and shoots her. She falls in, and then takes Eva to the bar. Or I think she was at the bar, yeah. And then Jennifer Lou shows up because for some reason she's looking at a picture of Freddie Prinze Jr. and Stevie, the girl, and then all of a sudden she makes like this shocked look on her face. I'm like, okay, why the shocked expression? Because, yeah, Stevie worked at that place, and Freddie Prinze Jr. is her boss. So what was the reason? What was her connection? Okay, she worked at the bar with Freddie Prinze Jr. There was nothing in that picture that seemed, oh, it's this. It's him. because spoilers, but still I don't care. Turns out because Eva recognized the cut on Freddie Prinze Jr.'s arm in the same place where she got attacked in that building from, where he cut the killer. So it turns out that he's the killer, also the killer as well. And Jennifer Lewis, so that's what I mean. If you do the Jennifer, what made her think that Jennifer Love Hewitt, that Jennifer Lewis thinks that Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer? Because the picture you saw of her and him and Stevie, because he's her boss. Stevie works there. What made her guess that Freddie Prinze Jr. was the killer? Don't know. But yeah, he's the killer, and by the time she gets there, and this is this whole stupid twist of him being the killer and what his stupid motivation is. Reason why he's doing this because, oh, they want to erase us, what we did in the past. They want to erase us. Whatever his motivation was stupid. Okay, so if you liked his character in the first two movies, they shit on his character, and so he becomes a killer. And I'm like, part of me is like, wow, in this universe, if Ben Willis was in his grave, he'd be so proud of you right now. So what was like, what? Why are you trying to kill him in the first place? You end up becoming just like me. That's what I was thinking in my head. If Ben Willis must be so proud of you now. Because everything now everything that Freddie Prinze Jr. was doing in the second film, trying to save the love of his life, everything was doing, escaping from the hospital, selling his engagement ring to buy a gun, going through the stormy weather on a boat to get there, try to fights the sun, and well, he tried to shoot by a jam though, but still, all that he did for her, now it's all meaningless because whatever reason why they don't like each other, they broke up, not explained. And his stupid, and the stupid twist, and his stupid motivation for why he's doing it, stupid. So basically, they shit on his character, especially with his efforts in the second film. And Jennifer Love Hewitt doesn't do jack shit, because she just stands there and saying, because he has the hook, and he tells him, "What are you waiting for?" Yeah, the famous line in the first movie, right? What are you waiting for? That was mocked as a joke, okay? And you bring that bring that line up as in a casual way, like it's a good line. Well, it is a memorable line because it's been mocked at for a long time, And then she even says it in the second film, basically, What are you waiting for? Come and get me. I'm right here." So it's not even a classic line. It's a joke of a line that got it's been made fun of for a long time since it was first aired, or she said in the first movie. So but she goes to this, but she goes and says it. What are you waiting for? But she just stands there, and Freddie Prinze Jr. The girl Eva, she shoots him with a harpoon, and that's that. So Jennifer Lou Disney and fight pretty for. You think it would be like a relevant thing, because if you're doing this whole thing, you think it'd be a fight between she has to fight the man that she once loved, and after her attempts to save her in the second film, and you think that'd be a little bit of a drama. Now she has to put him down now. Thinking maybe she had flashbacks of her time with him in the first movie, and then him trying to save her in the second film. Be a little bit of drama and acting. No, that's not even that though. She just stands there while the girl Eva shoots him with a harpoon, and that's that. So Jennifer Lou didn't do jack shit, nothing. So after that, Danica's alive. Now they're both Eva and Danica are talking, and they're just talking like basically nothing has happened though. Oh, they do mention, Stevie's alive, so we should probably go kill that bitch. So they're just talking casually as if nothing has happened after that. I mean, don't you think the girl Danica would be more traumatized because she lost two fiancés? But yeah, whatever. And then there's a post credit where Jennifer Love Hewitt goes to see her friend Brandy. Comes back from the second film. So she's married, and they're watching the news of what happened, and so because Jennifer Lewis receives another letter from somebody else, an unknown anonymous stalker, so she goes to see Brandy and shows her the letter, because there's a picture of her and Brandy together with Brandy's face X'd out, right? And then Brandy goes and says, "Well, they're gonna go find this guy," and she goes and says, "Who are we gonna fuck up now?" I'm like, Brandy, you didn't fuck up anybody in the second film. You did was run away. You walk on the glass ceiling. You fall down, and then the killer swipes you again. You fall back into another glass door, and you pass out until afterward the ending where the storm is over. Then you walk up to Jennifer and Freddie, and that was it. You didn't fuck up anybody in the second film. So what are you saying? Who are you gonna fuck up now? The last time I saw Brandy, I mean, last time I saw Brandy was I think it was last year. It was last year, I think it was, in that stupid A24 film, the Front Room. Yeah, I think it was called The Front Room. I think it was. That was a stupid movie either. She sucked in that movie. I mean, yeah, I don't think she was not that. Okay, to be fair, I don't think Brandy was that bad in the second film, from what I remember. I think when I reviewed it, I ranted on it, though, but I don't think she was not that bad though. I don't remember. I have to rewatch my own review. I hardly watch my own reviews though, but I don't think she was not that bad though. But but she didn't do jack nothing in the movie though. And I'm surprised. Talk about if you want to throw nostalgia, all the stuff from the references to the second and first movie. I am surprised that they did not put in the song "Hush" in this. That was in the trailer of the first movie, and let alone it was playing during the credits or during the scene where Ryan Philippe was in the shower, and then during the end credits of the first movie. I'm surprised they did not put that song in this movie, just to throw. If they want to take on nostalgia, I'm surprised they did not put that song in that movie. And I like that song. Hush, hush, oh no, baby, call my name now. Hush, hush, na 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 na. I'm surprised they did that. Put that in the movie for nostalgia. I'm surprised. But yeah, this film was just sucked all the way around. Okay, yeah, Scream 5 and 6, the Halloween movies pissed me off more, but this film still pissed. It was not needed, and it didn't want it. No one was asking for this movie, and they got the director of this film. What was the director's name? Jennifer Kaytin Robinson. So you got her, who is one of the co-writers of Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, so you get one of the co-writers of Thor: Love and Thunder got to do a legacy sequel that no one wanted of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, right? This is the reason why this one did not do that well. It did. They tried cashing on legacy like the franchise, like Halloween and Scream, and it didn't live up to it. The film didn't do that well overall. Yeah, it was a budget of 18 million, but it didn't live up to the box office numbers of the Scream movies and Halloween movies. Because no one was asking for a sequel anyway. No one asked. Raise your hand. Was anyone asking for another I Know What You Did Last Summer movie? Raise your hand, please. Oh, and speaking of reboots, oh, by the way, they're doing a reboot of Urban Legend. Speaking of another thing of the whole Scream type serial killer movies. Or I like the first Urban Legend movie, and now they're doing a reboot of that. I'm like, wow, was anyone asking for another one? I mean, the sequel, the final cut, was not. It was it okay? I don't remember. I gotta watch that again, but it was. I think it was okay at best, but I like the first film better. But is anyone asking for a reboot of Urban Legend? Any of these reboots these people have the idea. Oh, let's do this one now. Did anyone ask for another I Know What You Did Last Summer movie? And did anyone ask for another reboot of Urban Legend? No one. This is what these people just don't learn a single thing, because they're trying to capitalize on these successful franchises, and it don't. Do you think that a reboot of Urban Legend is going to do that well? I don't think so. So yeah, this film it sucks big time. It sucks. It can kiss my ass, let alone it can suck my you know what. Because these newer characters suck. I mean, the girl who played Eva and Danica, they were, I would say they were fair, to be honest. Okay, they were fair, but I didn't care about any of these characters either. I didn't care basically the guy who got nervous and left like a bitch because he was gonna do Eva right, strangle her to death. That was a lame kill. I mean, the podcaster, the girl Stevie. I mean, reason why? Okay, why? Because the girl who died, the guy that died in the crash. Oh, he was your rehab hubby, so you liked him. Okay, what, did you share like needles together or whatever? Come on. Oh, I forgot to mention another lame kill. The preacher they suspected, they find him dead too. That's how forgettable it was. Um, sad to see Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer, really. And then the whole stupid twist with Freddie Prinze Jr. I mean, like I said, I did predict it was him, because the podcaster was saying, "Oh, it's you. Who do you think she recognized?" Because she was doing reports on the 1997 murders. Jennifer Love Hewitt was away from that town, and the girl has not met Eva's other friends. Who do you think she recognized then? And and so, oh, and then of course the cut on the arm, which I figured though, but it gave itself away. Or do you think? Well, if I'm the one who thought of it though, but I'm sure people didn't see that coming though. But I thought of it. I predicted it was him. And his stupid twist, and the reason why his whole motivation for why he's doing it is stupid. So, and basically it shits on his character, on both of them, because everything they went into the first two movies basically is now it's all for nothing. Especially how Freddie Prinze Jr., what he did to help and tried to help in the second film, that was all for nothing. Because for some reason, whatever reason, they're broken up and they don't like each other. They don't explain why. And Jennifer Love Hewitt didn't do jack shit either. So basically, it shits on those two characters. If you're fans of these movies, or there aren't fans of these movies anyway, but so they wouldn't care. But if you were fans of these movies, you probably get pissed at this because they just shit on those characters anyway. and disparate cameos like bringing in Brandy and then Sarah Michelle Gellar and with a bad CGI decomposing. This film did not need to exist. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah, or last summer when they did the production of this film, when they started production of this film, it should have died. That's what it was. I know that's what it was. I Know What You Did Last Summer. This production died last summer. How about that? I know I can't do good jokes like that, but you get what I'm trying to do. Lame cast, lame kills. The best kill was basically the second fiance, like this, but the other ones were lame. Stupid plot twist, stupid motivation for reason for Freddie Prinze Jr. Shitting on those two characters. A film that did not need to be wanted or did not needed. People didn't ask for. So I don't know what the reason that is, because this film did not need to be made, and we do not need a reboot of Urban Legend. But I don't know what they're gonna do next, for something like this. Well, fuck the seventh Scream film. We did not need it. We do not need a seventh Scream movie anyway. That's another thing. Next year, we do not need another Scream movie. 7. We don't need that. Fuck that. Oh, Matthew Lewis coming back. That's stupid reason as well. Okay, stupid. What? Because he's gonna come back like as a ghost, like the lead girl was seeing her father, Skeet Ulrich, as Billy Loomis. Is the same thing with Matthew Lillard? Is he be seen like a ghost as well? How can he come back? Because after he got slammed with a TV on his face and electrocuted. I don't know. Okay, I'm stopping now. So yeah, fuck I Know What You Did Last Summer. This movie, this legacy sequel did not need to be made, and this film pisses me off more the more I talk about it. But thank God, after this, we got one more rant to go, which I think is most overrated. One of the most overrated movies that came out this year, though. And then after that, we'll end on more good positive reviews to end October Halloween month. So yeah, this is what I think about this movie. It can stick up its own ass later.